Well, here we are, just 1 week out from the first round of the Australian Hard Enduro Championship. We're in the process of loading the van up before we head up to Tenterfield, the northern end of New South Wales. Before we load up this little beauty, we thought we'd have a chat with Ryan Peterson. Ryan, what do you think about the 2020 Sherco Factory SE 300?
Yeah, I really like it. So I've got 56 hours on it now. So I'm just really starting to get comfortable on it now. So it took me a while. So I come off a KTM, so it just took a while. It's completely different. It took a while to get used to it. So now I'm starting to get really comfortable on it, especially now with the suspension revalve for my personal preference. So now there's really nothing else I'd want to change on it.
Yeah, right. So you've had it comes with a KYB forks and shock, obviously.
Yeah.
Which is pretty top-notch gear. But you're a little bit fussy with your suspension, aren't you? I know you like to muck around with it and try and get it absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
so what have they done with it, the FFRC?
The stock setting's pretty slow. It's actually really good for enduro. I actually quite liked it, but it just wasn't quite active enough. So I've come off a PDS bike, and the PDS bikes are quite bouncy, and I was kind of looking for a little bit of a bounce again because it was so stable. So I spoke to James from FFRC, and he said, yep, I can make a faster rebound for it, and he's put his custom piston in the shock, so it's his own spec, and it's just made it, it's weird, it's really bouncy when you go really slow, but as soon as you go fast again, it's like stable again. It's exactly what I wanted, really.
So that bounce, is that rebound you're talking about, the bounce?
Yeah, so when I'm trying to like jump up something or just hop over something, it gives you a little bit of a bright.
So you want a bit more lively in your rear end when you're jumping over a log or up a rock step up or something like that.
Yeah, so I want the suspension to work a bit faster and quicker.
Yeah, right. And how does the suspension on the factory compare to the is it the racing Sherco?
Yes.
The racing model. What difference is there between the two?
So the racing model comes stock with the WP Explorer forks and just a linkage WP shock.
Right.
The biggest difference, so it is, I would say KYB is a high quality component, but the biggest difference is the KYB will go fast and slow good, like in the same setting, whereas the WP will either go fast or go slow. It won't really do both. So if you're riding hard enduro, it's actually not a big problem like KYB or WP. Like you can get a really good slow setting on the WP model, it'll handle great. When you go fast, it's not as good as the KYB.
So the KYB's, all the WP's good, the KYB's just got a bit more adjustability.
It just more adjustability, and also it does both really well. It goes slow and fast well,
right,
whereas
okay.
the WP will go slow well or fast well, but not both as good as the WP. Which is more to do with the shocks being a closed chamber fork on a WP.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
Oh, on a KYB, sorry.
I gotcha. What else is different on the factory compared to the racing model? I can see you've got a thermo fan in here. Does that come standard on the factory model?
The thermo fan comes standard. Factory model comes stock with some solid rear discs.
Solid discs.
The feel's a little bit different, nothing too crazy. It's more for mud. Just stops your pads wearing out so far.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Just graphics, comes with a little slightly taller seat and just a gripper cover as well.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the biggest changes.
What about, I noticed your seat's a toolless seat?
So toolless seat, quarter turn, lifts it out.
Too easy. You got some spare cable ties in there.
Your cable ties, big air filter.
Nice. What size fuel tank?
10.4 litres.
10.4. Yeah, right. And I notice on the factory, or on the Shercos, they've actually don't have the fuel tap on the side of the tank there. They actually sneak it up just in there, so it's well protected, so far less chance of having that break off. I mean, I used to have a Husserberg, the fuel injected model, and I dropped it during a race, and that took me out of the race because I actually damaged the fuel tap. Stator.
Yeah, so because the bike's obviously got no kickstart, so you want a big charging system. So it's got a 220 watt stator, so that's more than enough to run the fan, the headlight and the power valve and stop and start heaps. So
yeah, right.
I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the fan and the headlight all run off the stator.
Yep. And
nothing off the battery, so it's not a total loss sort of system in a way where you can't drain the battery with the fan.
Yep,
and it's more than big enough to run the fan, so you're never going to kill a battery that way.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I noticed you got the B&B Off-Road Engineering cover there that they've kindly made up for you.
It's just glued on.
Well, it's gold. Ergos compared to the KTM, what's it like from, say, to the pegs to your hips and then your hips to the bars? Is that that changed much?
So I came off a 17 KTM EXC, and bars, foot peg to handlebars, foot peg seat handlebars, it's all a little bit closer, but I didn't mind that. I kind of like a real tight rolled back sort of setup.
Yep.
But the biggest thing I noticed was the width through the frame. It's a little bit wider than the KDM.
A little bit wider than the KDM,
so it took me a few hours to learn how to grip this bike again compared to the KDM.
Now consider it's a little bit wider, and you've got like, what did you say, about 60 hours on it?
Yeah, 60.
Did you find it easier to grip or harder to grip, or just sort of no different, you're just used to it?
Just had to learn how to grip it.
Yeah, right, okay.
So it was no different really.
Yeah, gotcha. Motor-wise, what's the big difference between, say, you came off a 17 KDM, which I know you're happy with, and I've got a 17 KDM, I'm happy with that. And I've ridden this, to me, this feels like it's got more low-end torque.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. Probably two things, low-end torque and the electric power valve makes a huge difference. So
yeah, right.
I probably prefer, like, if I had to pick, what's better, probably electric power valve, just based on the fact it opens up really early but really gradual. So it's like a really linear power. So you can get on the power band really early, but it's really soft and it just comes on really slow. And also the matte switch, because you can change the electronic power valve, it changes the setting hugely. So you put it on soft, it's like the hit's way later, but it's also way softer. So
I noticed, I flicked that matte switch, and it does actually make a huge difference, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
I had a matte switch on the Husselberg I had, and to be honest, I couldn't tell any difference between it.
No, so that changes you the power valve, how soon and late it opens.
A Moto Thanes GPS mount, nice one. What tyres you got on there at the moment, mate?
Well, I've got the Razor Blade 216 on the front, which is a 8100. Yeah, I either run that or the Fatty front.
Golden tyre.
And then the 516 KE on the rear.
The KE, now there's a KX, but KX is very soft and gummy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a proper race tyre. You'd probably only use that in a race, not for a weekend warrior, just mucking around on the weekend. But that's the KE with exactly the same tread pattern as the KX, just a slightly harder compound tyre, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, right, yeah. Muffler, pipe, what's it got? Gold Series FMF.
FMF gnarly on the front.
Yeah, nice.
And then I think it's a Sherco produced muffler.
And it looks like you got yourself a homemade linkage, a little bit of protection there.
Yeah, more to stop mud.
Yeah, just keep the mud out of it. Very good. We'll see how we go over the next 60 or 70 hours and come back and do a much longer term review, eh?
Yeah, sounds
very good. Oh, by the way, you've entered gold at Tenterfield Terra?
Yeah, so hopefully I don't die in that.
Do you reckon you're going to keep up with Chris Perry or Tim Coleman?
Yeah, I'll probably get in their robe and they're trying to lap me.
Yeah, I can imagine, mate. They're pretty fast, aren't they? All right. Oh, well, thanks for talking to us about the Sherco. One more question, I guess, I ask, and it's probably on everybody's lips who's involved with hard enduro. Is Brent Brady capable of riding one of these?
Probably not.
Probably not. That's a fair enough answer. Thanks, mate. Cheers.